We start our recording. Very good. Okay. Let me take myself. I like to take just a second before I get started to get myself centered. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ideal Practice. You are in for a treat today, y'all. You're going to hear a story that you have never heard before. I guarantee you this is going to be unlike anything we have covered yet on this program. And I think you're going to love it. It's going to be great. You've already heard a little bit in the intro about how outstanding and unusual my guest is today. So let me bring her on and let you say hello to her. Say hello, Soribel. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the program. I'm so glad that you were willing to take time out to do this with me today. I know you've got a lot going on. You're a busy woman.
I'm a busy woman.
You are. Yeah.
You're right about that.
So, Soribel, start us off by telling us a little bit about, let's just start with the simple stuff. Where are you? Who do you serve? Who do you help? And how do you help them? Let's start with that. Let's just sort of set the stage.
Yes. So my name is Soribel Martínez. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I am also a business coach for other private practice owners who want to build $1 million and beyond in their private practice so they can have more impact, more revenue, and profit. I am in Connecticut. I am originally from the Dominican Republic, but I live in Connecticut since I was 12.
All right. And you have a very, very active and large and growing group practice right now. Yeah. So tell us a little bit. I really want to dive into the juicy stuff about your practice because you are crafting, building, teaching people how to build a multi-million-dollar practice, which is just right. That's not language we're used to hearing. Tell me a little bit about, let's just start with like what got you into why social work for a woman who thinks the way you do. Why did you go into social work instead of some other kind of industry or business? I'm kind of curious about that.
Yes. So since I was 7 years old, I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to write books. I knew I wanted to become a philanthropist. I wanted to help people. That's always been since I was a little kid. However, I also wanted to be a businesswoman. And I think I got that from my dad. He had his master's in business administration back in DR. And I don't know, I used to admire, like what he was doing. And I just wanted to do that. So early on in life, I decided that I was going to become a psychiatrist. And I went to medical school for 2 years. But the truth is that I didn't like medical school. I really didn't like it. I quit. I'm not a quitter, but I quit medical school because I don't know, medicine was not for me. I wanted to learn about behavior and how to change people's life and how to empower people. And they were taking too long to allow me to do that. That was too long. So I came back home and I got a master's in psychology. And the reason why I went into psychology specifically was because I needed to understand my own family dysfunctions.
Isn't that where so many people start? That is a common thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I need to understand why my father is a womanizer. I want to understand why my mom takes a shit. Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
I wanted to understand all of it, right? And because I know that behavior is inherited, I wanted to make sure that I was not diving into the same generational trauma. And I wanted to make a change in my life. And I wanted to help others to make a change in their lives. So after that, I went for my master's in business administration. And then finally, I got my master's in social work from USC.
3 masters. I got psychology, MBA, social work. When you told me this before, I thought, so you are obviously an overachiever. Let's clear that.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. I have 2 undergrads, biology and psychology. I decided that I was going to work helping people change their lives. And so they don't have to also repeat the mistakes of their family, of their parents, of the great grandparents, right? That we can
Yeah.
make a difference. And I think that we were created to make a difference, to change our generation, so the future generations can really benefit from something else. So that's
Yeah.
how I decided to be in therapy. I knew at some point I wanted to be a business owner. However, I have some, challenges along the way with my health, two brain aneurysms and brain
Oh,
surgery. My son was young, but the time came.
wow. So you have been through a lot.
I've
Um,
been through a few things.
you've been through a lot. Yeah. And you said you came from the Dominican Republic at 12, I think, is when you came to
At
this
12,
country.
yeah, yeah,
Right. So all the issues that go around immigration, which is not a small thing either.
yes,
Illness, family difficulties, lots of tough stuff. And being the kind of person that you are, you're like, yeah, we're not going to keep this going. We're going to fix this and figure out why this happens. And I want to solve it for myself and I want to solve it for other people, which I love and can totally relate to. A lot of people who go into mental health in particular, that's the
yeah,
backstory. Often that's the case. So you told me that when you decided to go into private practice, you were a school social worker in Connecticut,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. And we're gonna tell me about that decision. Like, I'm just gonna do a little work on the side, is what I remember you saying,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So, because my son was young, I was like, I'm gonna go to school to be a school social worker. The 10 month employment, summers off. Every time my son was off, I was able to be at home. So, as a single mom, that was something that helped me.
Yeah.
However, as a school social worker, although I was making great money, I'm not the typical social worker that started like a $42,000. I wanted six figures, and they gave me six figure when I started. And
Wow.
it was good work. I was helping people, but the thing is, like, as a single parent, after taxes and all the things, and the life that I wanted for my son, $100,000 was not cutting it anymore. I wanted my son to go to private school. He was going to private school. Private school was eating a lot of my funds, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it was expensive, and my son was playing the violin, and I wanted him to have opportunities and to travel
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go part time into private practice so I can fuel some income into my regular income. I can do that part-time after school. I used to work from 7 to 3, and I can go, like, on the weekends, and then in the summer I can do some of that.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't turn out that way, because when I identified the marketing strategy that I want to implement, and the marketing tactic that I want to implement, and I did it before I even opened the doors to my private practice. I had
Mm.
150 people on a wait list, and I
Good
was working
Lord.
with
Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's catch that. So there's several things you just said that people are going to be going, what? So first of all, you were a school social worker making six figures in Connecticut, which would not happen in Tennessee. So that we talked, I
it would not
remember
happen
telling
in
you,
Connecticut either.
right. It is a huge, like there, and this is one of the things I love about the podcast is that it gives people a chance to get a window into what life is like in different parts of the country and how the numbers are different in parts of the country and what sounds awesome in one place sounds terrible in another place and vice versa. So you were making 100,000 plus as a school social worker, which is crazy in my mind. But in Connecticut, I'm guessing that's not that unusual. And that even on that salary, it still wasn't enough to meet what you wanted for your kid, for your family, right? And so you're like, schools are easy. I've got my hours are great. I got my summers off. I can do a little bit of this on the side. Sure, I'll just start a little practice to get a little money on the side. But because you have a business background, which is extremely unusual, you knew things the rest of us don't know starting off. So did you just say that you had 150 people waiting for you, like referrals, like clients
Yes,
waiting?
yes, waiting, and the door weren't even open, because the truth is that I didn't even have an office space, because I didn't
Oh,
have the funds to rent an office space. And
goodness.
at that time, I was driving my little white on white Mercedes Benz, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start with what I have, and what I have is my car and I'm going to turn this car into an office, and I'm just going to offer in-home services. I had done in-home services before with ICAPS, different programs in the community. I'm going to do this. And when I saw the 150 people on the wait list, I knew that alone I was not going to be able to do that, of course. Yeah. And I said, you know what? This is going to be a solo practice. We got to go into group practice. And that's what I did. I never was like a solo. I went from like solo to group, like all happening.
So this is brilliant. So you're saying that when you started your practice on the side around your full-time job, you couldn't afford to rent an office. I'm sure, like y'all, when you hear about salaries in Connecticut, not only are salaries higher, so is the cost of living. Everything's a lot higher, right? Everything's like gas is higher, everything's higher. You couldn't afford to rent a space. So you're like, fine, I'll just take my car will be my office. I will go to them, which is incredibly unusual and smart. And I can see why that would automatically make you stand out right from the beginning, because nobody does that. In-home services I've done some in-home work early in my career, but it is a very rare thing because it's very time intensive and it can be a little scary sometimes depending upon this, what you're going to. But you took it to them. So can we dive into that a little bit and tell me how, and so you said that you had 150 people. There's no way you can serve that many. So you immediately started hiring people to meet the demand right off the bat.
Right off the bat. So I never was solo. I was like,
ever.
Before I started to open the doors, I had the people waiting. Then I was like, oh my God, here are the possibilities. Like, why would I even stay at this job when there's a possibility of this situation? So what I did was I left my job. I gave my 4-week notice and I said, I'm leaving. And people were like, you crazy. How are you going to leave a school job? Like, people died to be in the schools.
Yeah.
And, my situation was very different because in Connecticut, social workers begin like around $43,000, $43,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the start. But I negotiated.
And
I was willing to walk away from it if they didn't give me what I want.
So. And I asked you a little bit when we met the first time. I asked you a little bit about your background, and I know that you've done all kinds of things. You've worked inpatient, outpatient, IOP, intensive, ERs. Like you weren't new at this. You came with a wealth of experience and background already. But so the average salary for a school counselor is not, or not counselor, a school social worker is not 100K. It's 40, 50. Okay. But you negotiated all right off the bat. So you are something else. Okay.
Wow. Business.
Yeah. So I can see why people would look at you and like, why would you leave this? That's a pretty cushy job then. Okay. Yeah.
So, so I gave my notice and I went into it full time. I hired people to go into people's home. 3 months later, I found a woman that was renting me like her office, like $20 per session. And I was growing so fast that 1 month I paid her $1,100 for rent. And I was like, hell no, I'm not gonna pay you $1,000 when I can go find a place. Like, this is gonna be the last month that I'm gonna do that. And I remember in that March, I went and got me an office. And I furnished the office, and we continued to do in-home. And I used to go to my office only 2 days a week, because then the in-home became a thing, right?
Yeah.
And it was growing, and we were doing wonderful work in the community. And then the pandemic hit, and that's when we turned into telehealth.
Oh, wow. Yeah, an in-home service wouldn't work very well with the pandemic.
No, it didn't work at all.
Wow. So did you buy a building to start an office, or did you were renting at that space?
I rented a space, and I used to go to my office in Danbury 2 times per week. And the rest of the week I used to do home services in home, me and other therapists.
Okay. In the beginning, were you serving a particular population or a particular problem? What was your focus? What was your client focus?
My marketing focus is women and families.
Okay.
We do serve men, but my knowledge tells me, since I graduated high school, all I've done is human service, mental health, social service. I never done any other job but this work. So
Yeah,
I knew that women are the one that usually look for these type of services for
this is
the
true.
it could be for their son, for their daughters, for themselves, for the husband, for the grandpa, for the grandma, for the niece, for the nephew. So I was like, you know what? This is a great strategy for me to position myself, and it has worked. And I'm not
Yeah,
going to change it. It's just
yeah,
worked perfectly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Mamas are the ones who go get the help for everybody. Right. You're absolutely right about that. That's true. So I'd love to know, I think everybody's going to be asking this question. How the heck did you have 150 people waiting for you before you ever opened your doors? Like literally, how did you do that? Because that's such a
People
crazy story.
It
Go ahead.
is because what people think that may not work has worked very well for me. And I think that one of the things that we need to keep in mind about our businesses is not just about tactics and strategies, it's about our mindset. We
Yeah.
have to develop a business mindset. Because what I find with therapists with us is that we were not taught business in school. We were taught that we are here created just to help people. We there is an understanding out there that therapists are poor, that
Yeah.
that we are offering our client services that we should be getting ourselves. That's what I hear all the time. Like, oh man,
Mm,
I don't make that much. I should be applying for this, and that, just like my clients, right?
mm,
And I
mm.
wanted to break with that stigma.
Yeah.
And what I did was I created a marketing strategy. My strategy was to break the stigma of social services and mental health services in the community, that people can have access to these services, right? No matter what. And so I decided that I was going to have a website, and I decided that I was going to use Psychology Today,
Mm-hmm.
and that I was going to do some traditional marketing. Those were the three things that I used initially. A website that I got, one of those pre-made websites where
Like
you
Squarespace, something like that.
one of
Mm-hmm.
those. I used to pay monthly, and then Psychology Today and
Mm-hmm.
traditional marketing.
So when you
And
say traditional marketing, what do you mean? What was included in that?
so, and that it included for me developing relationships in the community with the doctor's offices, with local communities, right, and people, bringing material, letting them know what I was up to, connecting with the people that I knew already in my network that I was going to be doing private practice. And honestly, I really didn't think I was going to have as many people on that wait list. I was
So
thinking,
did you, well, I'm thinking a lot of people have a website and a Psych Today profile, but that doesn't bring in 150 people. But what you just now said so casually is not a casual thing. You marketed to doctors' offices, to community organizations, I'm guessing, to people that you knew. And were you taking them brochures or business cards? Were you taking gifts to people? Did you have lunch and coffee with folks? Were you just saying, hey, this is coming. I'm going to be opening. I'm not there yet, but I'm going to be. Is this like you were sort of like the pre sale in a
yeah.
way? Is that what you
So
were
what
doing?
I so what I did, the first step that I think we need to do is we have to have an intention. We need to understand, and we
Mm-hmm.
need to identify what we really want, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot
Mm-hmm.
of times we are too vague in what it is that we desire and our goals and the things that we want to accomplish. And one of the things
Yeah.
that I'm good at is like when I want something, and I'm going to be very specific in what I want, right?
Yeah.
After that, I picked my strategy. The strategy that I was going to use was to allow people to know these services are available to everyone. There's no stigma. I can go to your home, or and I can do this for you. You don't have to leave your house. If you have 20 kids and you can't leave because you don't have transportation, I'm there. And then I created a very intentional, not just one Psychology Today profile. I have various of Psychologists Today profiles,
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
not
Tell me
just
about
one.
that.
I have few Psychology Today profiles, and even for the people that I hire, they don't only have one Psychology Today profile. They have one or two or three Psychology Today profile, and they're written in very intentional ways to trigger Google. Google because that's where it shows up in Google.
Mhm.
So we do that. We just don't write generic copy. We write specific copy to the ideal client of that particular independent contractor or employee, and that's what I did for mine, right? And then after that, I created a brochure and introduction letter that I will send to people, right, or bring to people, and then I presented myself the first time, or we send it by email, by mail, and then we will follow up. Like back then, go ahead.
I want to ask a little clarification. Two things. First of all, with the psych, having more than one Psych Today profile is a new idea, which means you're paying for 2 or 3 profiles, right? You're paying 2 or 3 times the monthly amount that you. But what was the difference? Were you creating a profile with a different zip code, with a different target audience, with a like? What was the difference between the 2 or 3 profiles that you had?
One profile always goes with the person's name, where their picture and their name, and the other
Yeah.
profile goes with the person identifiable ideal clients, their credential, but it goes under the practice name.
Got it.
And what I do is the zip codes that I utilize for that one profile, I don't utilize it for the practice. I use different zip codes, so we have a broader
Yeah.
reach of audiences, and the copy has to be created specific to the ideal client that that person
Yep.
serves.
Yep. Yep.
And yes, it's true that we pay 1, 2, but how much? $60 for
Right.
2 profiles.
Right.
One client would pay for that,
Right. One
right?
session. Right.
One
Absolutely.
session would pay for that, and I have one profile since I started that has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls, hundreds of calls.
Yeah. Yeah.
That profile is like on fire. Thousands, like 100,000 of people has looked at that profile.
So that would be a good thing for people to go look at as an example, for sure, right? Because I will tell you, like one of my pet peeves is Psychology Today profiles because they are, and no judgment, not trying to judge anybody, but we are not taught this, so nobody knows how to do it another way. But they are all incredibly vanilla. They all say the same thing. They all sound the same. You can't tell anything about the person who's doing providing the service, and you can't tell who they serve. It drives me a little nuts. But so in the
You
very
gotta go check mine out then.
yeah, I'm going to. You got it. I should tell everybody we should put a link to your Psych Today profile. But when you were just getting started. I mean, again, you had a full-time job. This was a side gig. Did you from the beginning have a brand or a practice name, a business name, plus your individual personal name? And so you right from the beginning, you were profiling the practice quote and yourself. Okay, that's really smart.
The practice from the get-go, the first thing I did was register my name. I from the get-go, I have my logo. I had my identifiable ideal clients were families that I was serving,
Yeah.
and I presented that to the doctor's offices. I presented that to the people, and then
Yeah.
I would go back if they wanted to meet me, so they can ask me questions. I will come back and answer those questions. And to these days, the first doctor office that I can still remember where they're located, they still send referrals every single month. Not 1 month that they don't send referrals to us.
Love it. So that was my second question. When you went around to doctor's offices, for example, were those cold calls? Did you just walk in the door and talk to the receptionist, or did you call them in advance? Did you know somebody in that practice? How did you do that part? Because I also try to encourage people to do that, but it's scary for people. They have a hard time with that. So
yeah. So some of them we will send material in advance in the mail, and then we will follow up with them with a phone call. Back then, my secretary was doing like 5 hours a week. That's very little, like 3-4 hours like that. Then she will follow up, and then she will schedule an appointment if they wanted to meet me, and I will go and sit down with staff and explain about my services.
So I want to show you just did something there that's brilliant that I don't know that people will catch. So did you have an assistant right off the bat, when you, even before you had an office, before you opened your practice, did you have an assistant
I
who was
have
making
someone
calls for
that
you?
was helping me. That was helping me. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was it somebody local that you knew, or was it like an online VA, something like that?
No, it was somebody local that I knew. I was paying her, those small hours until we started. And as I grew, I continued to hours, and then, the rest is history. So from the get-go, I have never done anything in my practice that's not but be the genius that I am. Do therapy and being a business owner. I don't do anything. I never done billing, credentialing, answering phones, none of that stuff.
You have somebody else. So that is also unusual that you were in building mode, and you said I didn't feel like I couldn't quote afford unquote to rent an office space, so you were going to people and all that stuff. But yeah, you, by golly, you made it a point to quote afford to bring on a team member from the very beginning who helped you get the word out. And I'm going somewhere with this. You had this person call the doctor's office, mail something, call them, follow up, and ask them if they would like to meet you. And if they would, then she or he would set that up for you. So there's a little psychological bit to this that most people are not going to know that I want to highlight. When somebody, which is an unusual thing and it's brilliant, when someone else introduces you, it automatically elevates you. It automatically makes you, it heightens your credibility and it elevates your importance in a way, your perceived value. So when you have an assistant who sends out the letter and the brochure or whatever, and an assistant who calls and follows up and goes, she's awesome. She's going to be launching her practice soon. She's about ready to start seeing people. Would you like to meet her? Sure. I'd like to. Who is this person? Right. It automatically, and I'll tell you where I learned that was running for office. I learned that running for office. If I had someone go with me knocking on doors and they introduced me to people as a candidate, it automatically elevated me in a certain way.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
that's
and one of my goals from the get-go was to establish myself as a
yeah.
leader in the community. And one of
Yeah.
the things that I find that therapists
Mm.
struggle with a lot is they don't want to talk about themselves, or they feel uncomfortable other people talking about them, who they are. We feel
Amen.
uncomfortable, quote unquote, bragging about who we
Yes.
are and all these things. And what I found is that we need to position ourselves. We need to be in a position of leadership, right? We need to be in a position where people say, I want to go to her because she's a leader. She's doing something. Even your clients will look at you differently when
Yeah.
you are engaging in certain type of behaviors to attract them to be your clients. And from the get-go, my purpose was to establish myself as a leader in the community, as the go-to practice in the community. That's my goal, and that's still the goal. And we still practicing some of the things that I practiced day number one because it works.
Soribel, this is so cool. You, from the beginning, wanted your practice to be the go to resource in your community. From the beginning, you wanted to be the place. So
Oh,
that I love that because that's exactly how I started my practice as well back in the day. When I started a group practice, I wanted it to be the place that everybody thought of first. But I wasn't coming at it from a bragging point of view. It was like, I want to help. I want to, no matter what you need, I want our place to be the place that does that. And that has served you well, hasn't it? That
yes,
leadership has served
yes,
you well. Yeah.
yes. And I think that we need to build a mindset
Mm.
that I hear a lot of therapists say, I'm just a therapist. And I'm like, what does that even mean? You are just a therapist.
Yeah.
That vocabulary doesn't highlight you are a business owner, you are a leader, you have knowledge, you are an expert, you are a person that has the potential to change somebody's
Yeah.
life just with one word. And you think
Yeah.
you just a therapist because we were made believe. This is why
Yeah.
we have to change the mindset. We have to switch that little chip there that says, I'm just a therapist, I'm just here to serve, I'm supposed to save everybody else. But yeah, also I'm supposed to be poor. And if I don't have a husband who gives me insurance, then I can't, you know what I mean? Like those type of
Mm-hmm.
conversation and a mindset, it will keeps people away from really building a business. I
Yes.
have a business. I'm building a company. I'm building a kingdom. I'm building a legacy. I'm building something humongous that
Mm.
will impact the life of a lot of people. So when you say that to yourself, you go from, I'm just a therapist, to I am a leader. I am
Yes.
here to change people's lives. I'm here to provide job opportunities to others. So we need to shift the mindset that we are just a therapist. Being a therapist is one important duty in this
Mm-hmm.
society. It's not just a therapist. We change lives. We change mindsets. We save marriages. We save kids. We do
Yes.
so much, and we are just therapists. And we need to shift the mindset, because when we shift our mindset from this idea that we are just therapists to a business owner,
Yeah.
you make different decisions. You're
Yeah.
no longer going to allow yourself to be answering those phone calls. There's no
Yeah.
need. Hire someone to do 1 hour per week if that's what you can afford.
Mm.
2 hours per week. It's
Mm.
okay. Then you can add more hours as you continue to grow,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that what has helped me is that I am not your typical therapist in the sense of the
That's an
mindset.
understatement.
Yeah, but in regards to mindset,
Yeah.
I am a business owner, I am a
Yeah.
CEO, and I position myself as such.
Yeah. 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 And you feel really strongly about this. I think we need to take the word just out of our vocabulary. I'm not just anything. I love that. And I 100% agree with you. 100%. So you have a multi, are you in the multi, you're in seven figures in your practice at this
Over,
point?
yeah, over 2.5 we made this year.
2.5. Awesome. Y'all listen to this. So today I know that you're doing all kinds of things. You've got, you're still doing the in-home person bit. You're doing telehealth. And you've got like 40 something people working for you at this point. Is
Well,
that right?
since you and I met, we hired
You've
a
hired
few.
some more. So what you are like a rocket taking off. So how many, what's your staffing look like today? Yeah.
On clinical, like 45.
45.
Total,
Yeah.
we about like 65.
Because you have what administrative help? What kind of
Okay,
team do you have?
so
Yeah.
what kind of team I have? So I have two IT guys. They're part-time, they're young people.
Okay.
I have my service coordinator, slash of my office manager. She's soon going to transition to just office manager, because I'm hiring a phone person that can answer the phones live now
Mm.
from 8:30 in the morning to 7 p.m. We're going to have two people doing that work.
Wow, that's
We do
huge.
have a billing department.
Yeah.
I never done billing. I don't know how to do billing, and I'm not interested in learning either. That's why I hire people that are competent, that they're genius in that.
Mm-hmm.
We have a credentialing department that takes care of all the credentialing from all the therapists that we hire. I have a writer, a professional writer that writes every single profile for our website and for Psychology Today, because it's very intentional, very
Mm-hmm.
intentional, the work that we do. We have our payroll department, and we have an HR department.
Goodness gracious, that's a lot. Okay. Are your staff, are they W-2 employees or are they 1099 contractors, or do you have both?
I have both. I have independent contractors, are the fully licensed people.
Okay.
I also have psychiatric APRNs.
Okay.
I also have people who do just immigration evaluations and psychological evaluations.
Oh, wow.
Each person in my practice works with the people that they want to work with. I don't assign just clients to anyone. People here, the first question is, who is your ideal client? And you will
Yeah.
believe that therapists have a hard time. Every
Yes.
therapist that comes
Yes.
and interview with me, they're like, what do you mean my ideal client? Like,
I
I
don't
work with
know. I just want to help.
everybody. No, I work with everybody. I said, well, I know we were taught to work with everybody, but who do you love working with?
Yes.
That
Yes. Yes.
put
Yes.
a smile in your face when you do the work. So we have, I have my accountant. I have one part-time assistant. I have a full-time assistant slash social media manager. I have my graphic designer. Yeah.
All of these are in-house. These are not people outside that you contract with. These are in-house.
Independent. I have independent contractors and others are employees.
Yeah. So you mentioned APRNs, which is psychiatric nurse practitioners, right? So you've got prescribers in-house.
Yes, I
You've
do.
got people in-house who specialize in immigration,
Services.
psychological advice and service. That's
Yes.
fantastic. And that's a niche. That's a really unique niche and probably well served in your area. And then you had, I love, so I was curious about the level of individuation among your providers. Like, do you set the rates for the practice as a whole, or do you, how does that, like, is it, there's a front door that everybody walks through one way, either a digital front door or a real front door that everybody, your clients come to, and then it goes from in there, right? But you have a system for how people find you, how people pay you, that kind of thing, right? Okay. And your insurance, you take insurance and self-pay? Is it both? Do you do both?
So
Right.
we take all the insurances, including state insurance. Here is Medicaid.
Okay.
Also remember that I have office space in New York, and we do have APRNs in New York. And we have therapists. There are not many. I'm still like breaking New York. New York is a really hard state to break through, but not giving up, as you already know. That's not an option. So yes, so everybody comes through one door, and that door they get assigned to different therapists depending on the therapist specialist and who they feel good working with. We don't assign clients that therapists are not, it's not part of the ideal client. So it has to be part of the ideal clients, the specialist, what they want to work with. We have a monthly team meeting. For independent contractors, it is voluntarily because they're not my employees, but the W-2, which are usually the pre licensed people, they are mandated to come. I have two part-time clinical directors.
Wow, I love this. I love this. Yeah.
I have two part-time clinical directors. I have one director for the in-home program that's called the Fifth.
The fifth? The fifth?
Huh. F-I-H-T-H.
English is your second language. Let's point that out. Right.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Like sometimes I have time. So, that is to provide services. I do have now a marketing shift officer. He's going to be overseeing all the marketing efforts and everything, both online and traditional, including advertisement. So we're gonna scale up to more refined marketing strategies like TV, radio, billboards.
Oh, you're going all out. Yeah.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I just hire a market manager.
Yeah.
She's going to be our on-foot person. I'm testing that here in the Hartford County, where she's going to go and build relationship. Remember that work that I used to do back then?
Yeah.
Now I have someone that she's going to go build those relationships in the
community. She'll be like your ambassador. She'll be your ambassador.
Yes,
and you have people, you've got like 2 or 3 locations at this point, or 4 or something like that, right? You're not
so
all
we
one.
we have office space in Danbury, Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. I'm about to open an office in Bloomfield, Connecticut. We have office in New York. We still have office in Massachusetts, but Massachusetts is another state that you have to like breathe a couple times.
Well, crossing state lines, instantly you're in a whole new set of rules and a whole new set of complications, I'm sure.
But we're not giving up.
Yeah. No, it's not in your nature, I don't think. Ever. You're smart enough to know when you need to pivot, and you will do that. But I don't, giving up is not in your vocabulary. I got that. Yeah. It's super impressive to hear all this and very unusual. But what drives, I think what's so significant about you is, number one, that you have this business background. So you already were thinking like that. But number two, you are so unapologetic about what you're building.
But can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who do we need to apologize to?
Yeah.
Who is it?
For real.
Is it that we need to apologize to? So we just need to show up as who we are, what we want, what we desire, what we believe that we deserve, and we deserve to fulfill a purpose. Period. So for me, it's like, actually, I don't even look at I only look at my competition when I want to see what my competition is not offering, so I can offer it.
Mm-hmm.
Like right
Mm-hmm.
now, we are working on creating a program called, actually a program, and we're going to write a book as a practice
Oh.
called Beyond the Therapeutic Share.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Why? Because I believe that the missing in mental health is personal development.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be
Mm-hmm.
able to give my clients the therapeutic part and the personal development part, where we can do like online courses. We're going to write, our practice is going to write an anthology. Everyone is going to write a chapter of the book.
I love that.
Groups,
Yeah.
workshops, seminars. Let's get people from the share to a journey of personal development. That's
Yeah.
my, yeah.
We're not just healing. We're not just solving problems. We're not just fixing something that's broken. We are growing human beings here who are going to have a full and lovely life. I love that. Soribel. I love that. Such a big thinker you are. What what do you think? What are the things that not everyone who hears this wants to have an empire like you're building, but everyone who's listening to this wants to be successful in some way. What do you think are the key? What are the drivers for any therapist who have maybe not $1 million practice, maybe a $500,000 practice, maybe a $200,000 practice, but still a financially sound practice? What do you think people need? What makes that work for folks?
I think I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Okay.
I believe that we all want to build an empire, but
Okay.
there's different sizes of empires.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your empire looks like two therapists and yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
that is success for you. That's your
Yeah.
empire. That's your
Yeah.
legacy. That's how you feel comfortable. That's where you feel comfortable. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to have a 500,000 private practice, you can do that. A million, multi-million, 20 million, 30 million, whatever, billions. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. You can have whatever size of success
Mm-hmm.
that you desire. And every success is good success. Even the woman that decides to stay home and take care of their children, she's
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's not about how big the goal is or the dream is.
Right.
For
Right.
me, it's me helping you understand that your vision is important. And
Right.
if for people your vision is supposedly quote unquote is small, that is a
Right.
huge vision, because your vision is important to the world.
Yeah.
Your mission is important to the world. Your purpose is important, because that potential that we have inside of us needs to be brought to the world, right?
Right.
In a
Yep.
more concise, smaller, whatever you want,
Right. Right.
concentrated,
Your ideal practice.
or yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. This is my ideal dream.
Yeah.
This is my ideal dream. Maybe your ideal dream is different, but it
Right.
is your ideal dream. And I think that, and I believe that everyone deserves to have exactly what is ideal to them.
Right. Whatever that looks like. Yeah. And
Yes.
and you're really hammering home the importance of mindset, how you think about success, how you think about what you bring to the table. But you talk about marketing a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a completely different approach to marketing. It's very creative, and it's multi-level, multifaceted, right? Um, what do you think what's the mistake that too many therapists make in private practice when it comes to marketing? What do you think? Where are they tripping themselves up?
Thinking that they don't need marketing.
Ah, that they don't need it at
What
all.
brand?
Yeah.
What brand?
Yeah.
Even the dollar store has a brand.
Mm.
Every clothing that you wear has a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you use, from the headphone, from everything, the hair color, everything has a brand.
Mm-hmm.
So therapists, we believe that we don't need a brand, that we don't need to market. And that is something that hinders us. I get people applying all the time that have their own private practice and they want to work and supplement their private practice with work that I will provide to them. Why?
Yeah.
Because they don't think that they need to market. They think that word of mouth is sufficient, and it's not, because it's not predictable.
Yeah.
Nothing that is predictable is going to get you the success that you want. Now, there's different levels of marketing. Of course, if you want a more like chic, like a smaller boutique kind of thing going on, well, you create a marketing strategy and a tool and a tactic that will fit that
Mm-hmm.
that you're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that you have is because somebody marketed and somebody said, I have something that you need.
Yeah.
But we are no different, but we think that we're different. We think
Yeah.
that we shouldn't market because we shouldn't have a brand. You
Yeah.
need a brand. You need to market it because even that small practice that you are building, you must have an exit plan for it to sell it. Don't just close it. No, no, no. Sell it. Sell it.
You listen to that. Okay, I'm going to put a pin in that. That's practice that you've got, whatever size it is. You need to have a plan to sell it. I wish someone had told me that when I started my practice because I did not know that until it was almost too late. Right. So that's a powerful bit of advice right there from the beginning. Be thinking about your practice as something you're not just going to close when you
It's a
retire or you
business.
move into something else. You sell it. Yeah.
You sell it. And
Yeah.
if you made $100,000 from that practice, you
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
If you sold it and they give you $20 million, that's also successful because that's what you wanted. That's
Yeah.
what you desire. So just so from the get go, have an exit plan. I know what my exit plan is, right?
Mm,
I have two exit plans, right? One exit plan is my son wants to go to medical school. He wants to become a psychiatrist. One exit plan for me is to pass it on to him.
mm.
If he chooses not to go on that path, then I'm going to sell it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you need to have an exit plan. You can't
Yeah.
just shut down or close down something that you worked so hard for. Sell
Yeah.
it. Even if you make $25,000 from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't want the $25,000, send it to me. I know what to do with it.
If you don't want the 25,000, send it to me. I know what to do.
I know what
That's
to do with
great.
it. Right. And
So
and it's
what does a brand mean for private practice? Because you're right, Dollar General, I can see that. McDonald's, I can see that. But what's a brand when I am a solo provider renting an office space in a big building in some city somewhere? What does a brand look like for me?
a brand is about your messaging.
Okay.
What problems do you solve?
Yep.
How do you help people? And how do you help them? What do you help with? And how what did you help with and how did you help them? It's
Mm-hmm.
creating that message that, for example, the messaging of our practice is that we empower women suffering from depression and anxiety to build meaningful relationship with their loved ones. So we want to help them reconnect with the purpose, find who they are. If they're depressed, to help them out. If they have sexual relationship problem, whatever that is, we are empowering women. And even when people come because they apply to my practice, and you ask them, "What do you think about Soribel practice?" It's empowering because I'm not just
Yeah.
empowering the people that we serve, but I'm empowering the people that come and work with us.
Yes.
I want them to be the best that they can be.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So a brand is about your messaging, who
Mm-hmm.
you are. It's not about building. It's not about building. I mean, remember where Amazon started their business?
Hmm.
Remember where they started?
I
It
actually
wasn't about
don't know.
building.
Yeah.
They just had a message and how they were
Yeah.
going to solve a particular problem. And they were the solution to that problem. Become the solution to somebody else's problem.
Mm-hmm.
Stop serving everybody. You cannot serve everyone. Pick your, people call it niche, but I call it your specialty. What do you
Yeah.
specialize on? What is
Yeah.
your genius, right? I'm a
Yeah.
genius, inspiring, motivating people, writing books, getting people out of their heads and getting
Yeah.
into movement, right? So I
Yeah.
want to only do the things that I am a genius.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do
Mm-hmm.
it. I don't want to do billing. I don't want to do the marketing. I don't want to do it. There's people out there that the universe gave them the purpose to be the person that's going to help you grow your brand.
Yeah, you're saying stay in your lane, do the things that you're good at, and bring on other people to do the things that you're not. Focus on what you're good at. And I really want to highlight what you just said. You can't serve everybody.
Oh, you can't.
So be the solution to someone's problem, but which problem do you want to be the solution to? And I agree with you. It is hard. I have so much trouble, that's not the right language. It is one of the biggest obstacles or challenges that my coaching clients have is identifying their specialty, what they want to be known for, who they really want to serve, who they love in their clients. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
your brand
Here's
is
the
what
thing.
you're known for, is how I think of
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about this.
Yeah.
When I was diagnosed with two brain aneurysms back in 2009, I was
Mm.
like, my doctor called me and said, Soribel, my primary doctor, the MRI came back, you have two brain aneurysms, and we need to plan for treatment. When I went to his office, he told me, well, I'm a general doctor. I don't do brain surgeries.
Mm.
He's a general doctor. He stayed
Mm-hmm.
in his lane. He was like, I can't help you. We need to
Yeah.
find someone that specializes in this.
Yes.
And after seeing doctors in New York, Ohio, Florida, Connecticut, and Boston,
Wow.
I
Wow.
found Dr. Karushi.
Mm.
And you know what I liked about Dr. Karushi?
What?
Dr. Karushi lived and fed his family by repairing brain aneurysms.
Mm.
So should I go to a general
Mm.
neurosurgeon or should I go to
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Karushi that in and out, that's what he does every day of his life,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Right.
Well, but let's be realistic. The general neurosurgeon would have charged me $25,000 for the surgery. Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Karushi, it was $1 million. My surgery was a total of $1 million.
Goodness gracious.
You know why? Specialize in something. He knows things that other surgeon don't know. He utilized machinery and all this stuff that the average person didn't know about. And he is part of the reason why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
So was
Yeah.
that what did the insurance pay $1 million to this man and the hospital and all the things? Of course was worth it. But Dr. Karushi was not walking out there saying, I fix every single brain issue that there is under the sun. He said, no, I only repair brain aneurysms.
Yeah.
And when he said that and he started explaining himself, I was like, this is my man. He knows what
Yeah. He knows what he's doing. Yeah.
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
therapists need to think about that way.
Yeah.
You can even be a generalist and charge $100 per session, or you can specialize in something very specific and earn more money.
And what I love about this is that you have found a way, because you are clear about how to make money from the beginning, to provide services for people who can't afford as much. You take Medicaid. Is that right? So it's not that you only serve the uber wealthy.
Oh,
it's
no,
that
actually,
you serve everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, we have a grant that serves undocumented folks.
A grant that serves undocumented folks. That's great. So, which is what I always come back to. When you make good money and you run a business that operates like a business, you can find lots of ways to help people, lots of ways to make a difference. This is what we bring to the table when we allow ourselves to be as successful as we are meant to be. Yes. Soribel, I love the way that you just called that out and are like, no, everybody wants to build some kind of an empire, even if it's just you or you and two people. Somebody you want something. Empire. Yeah, it's still an empire. I love that. So tell people, first of all, what's the name of your practice? I know that you are doing lots of things, but what's the name of your actual practice?
SM, Psychotherapy and Counseling Services.
S as in Soribel, M as in Martínez. No.
Samuel Martínez, my son's last name, Samuel Martínez, Psychotherapy and Counseling Services. Most people think it's Soribel Martínez.
Yeah. Okay.
I just told you my secret.
No, it's out there. Awesome. Because I think people might want to go look that up. And I want to make sure we link to your practice in our show notes. You've also written a couple of books. You've got a new one coming out, and you were just now talking about a third one you've got planned. Tell us about the books that you've got out there and where people can learn more about you.
So my first book is a book about resiliency. And I told my stories of how I overcame
Unbreakable
challenges. It's called Unbreakable.
And
it's still my stories of how I overcame. I can send you a copy, Wendy.
Yeah.
How I overcame immigration, brain surgery, the loss of my unborn child, 36 weeks of gestation. I talk about the women around me. I talk about overcoming religious trauma. And then I talk about how I open SM psychotherapy counseling service and some of the challenges. And then in that book, I wrote a chapter about business. And
Yeah.
this other book is the answer to that chapter on Unbreakable. It's called Multi-Million-Dollar Private Practice: How to Build a mental health practice that creates a massive impact, support your dreams, and generate millions of dollars consistently every single year.
Love it. Love it. She's got, and is that out? Or is it available for pre-sale?
That is on pre-sale. If you go to mndppbook.com, I am gifting $1,000 of bonuses to those that pre-order it. It's a
Awesome.
pre-order on Barnes and Noble right now.
Okay. Great. We'll make sure we link to all that too. It looks really cool. Both of those books look really cool. Um, you are a phenomenal creator. You're really good at recognizing a problem and coming up with not just one, but many solutions, many ways to address that problem. You're really good at finding new ways to serve people and new ways to create income as well. And I adore this, Soribel. You also have a, a wicked sense of humor. And it's really, 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 really fun. So where would you want people to go who want to, like, I want a little bit of what she's got? Okay. Where do you want them to go?
First, before I say that, I want to
Yeah.
say that. Remember when I told you in the beginning, when I was a little girl, I wanted to become a philanthropist.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is not just for me. A lot of this is also to help other people. We have a nonprofit organization called JC Precious Mind Foundation in the honor of the baby that I lost at 36 weeks of gestation. And what we do is we offer all services, financial, school, education, therapy, everything to children in the Dominican Republic suffering from special needs services, Down syndrome, autism, etc., etc.
Wow.
So this is not just for me. This is so much bigger than me. I'm just the vehicle that the universe has selected to bring it into fruition. And now, how can you find me? I'm everywhere. You can go to soribelmartinez.com. That's where you're going to find all the services that I offer. I offer courses. I have online courses. I do seminars. I do the things, right, to help other private practice owners to become who they want to become. $1 million is just a number. It's a number of how many people do we impact every single year. 2 million, 3 million, 20 millions. It's just a symbol of how many people we are impacting in the community. And, you can find me on social media, Soribel Martinez. I'm on YouTube. I have YouTube videos teaching different aspects of what I teach about resiliency, how to become resilient in your business, all of that stuff. You can find me on YouTube as Soribel Martinez, LinkedIn, Soribel Martinez, Instagram is therapist_Soribel Martinez. I've been featured.
We'll be sure and drop all that in the show notes. I know that you have a framework around how to build a multi-million-dollar practice, and that's what your new book that's coming out is going to be addressing. And I know you've got coaching around that as well. And I hope people will take you up on it, because the world needs more of what you are bringing. And I love that the foundation. I didn't know about your foundation. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Really beautiful. Yeah.
It is. And it's growing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start helping women, the moms of the kids, open their own home-based businesses so they can become sustained and they can help their kids.
Super cool. Yay for you. You are really something. That's fantastic. So talk about a ripple effect. And I will just say, this is what I think happens when women are successful. And I'm going to show, you can accuse me of being biased if you want to, but I think when mama's happy, everybody's happy.
That's true.
I really do think that when we do well, we tend to make sure that people around us are doing well in both big and small ways. And you are the epitome of that. The epitome of that. That's really great. Sorry, but this has been such a fascinating conversation, and so much more than I think a lot of people are used to hearing about. So thank you so much for sharing your vision, your big dream, and the reality that this dream is with us. It's really awesome. Is there anything, as I bring this to a close, is there anything I have not asked you? Is there anything we haven't covered? Is there anything that you feel called to share that you feel like would make this conversation complete?
What I want to say is this. I know that my dreams are humongous. And I also know that I am a successful person. But also, I want you to know that we all successful in whatever magnitude or miniature that we want to bring that success into the world. You have every single potential inside of you to bring it. Don't let anyone to tell you any other way. Any other way. You have everything that it takes. Go do it. Find the tools, read the books, read about how can you become a real entrepreneur. And stop telling people, oh, I have a little practice. No, you have a business. You have a business that has the
Yes.
potential to change the world. You know why?
Yeah.
Because one person has the seeds of 5 generations. And
Mm.
that could be a whole world in itself.
Whoa, that's a rider downer. One person has the seed of 5 generations, and that can change the world. Wow, that's beautiful. What a powerful way to close this. That's great. And you are so right. So stop saying I'm just anything.
That's
Stop
right.
saying you already have what you need inside.
You're smart, you're beautiful, you're great, you're amazing, you are everything that you need, you are. You just need to allow it to just come out.
Let
Show
it
it.
go.
There's
Yeah,
nobody to apologize. There's nobody to apologize to.
love it. Thank you, Soribel. You are such a treat. I'm so glad I've got to meet you. I hope I'm going to be following you. I want to keep up with how you're doing. And I know that my audience is going to just like soak this up. Thank you so much for being here today. This is just really fantastic.
It
I
was a
appreciate it.
wonderful conversation. Thank you so much.
So, y'all, I hope that you have gotten something out of this. I hope that she has got you thinking in some really new ways about what's possible for you. I hope she is stirring you up because she's right. You do have this already inside, whether you know it or not. So quit dimming your light. Let it shine, people. Let it shine. All right, everyone, have an awesome week, and I will see you next time right here on Ideal Practice. Bye, everybody.